So while working on the PET, I found I got some bad EPROMs. I could buy them. I could buy a new EPROM burner, but what's the fun in that? I thought, hey, let's see if we can get this Promenade C1 EPROM burner that I got with the Stone Collection working and use this to burn new EPROMs for the PET, starting right now. Promenade Model C1 by the Jason Ranheim Company, San Jose, California. Oh, it's such a cool looking little EPROM burner. There's the serial number. And we'll open it up. I already got two of the screws out. Take the other two out and see what it looks like inside. So based on what I'm seeing here, I'm going to guess this was made sometime in early 1984. And these caps all look just fine. I know everybody really panics about caps, but at this era, they're usually pretty good. Well, let's put it back together and see how it works. So the SD to IC normally plugs into the cassette port, but it won't fit. So if you're going to use one with this, you have to power it separately via a USB cable. Okay, so I've made a floppy disk that's got the Promenade software on it. So load that up. And this is what's on that disk. We're going to load the first thing, so and this is going to load the DOS wedge for the EPROM burner. And we're waiting and waiting. Man, the jail bars are terrible. That's got to be this piece of crap cable I made. All right, so as soon as the DOS wedge came out, you know, it's the socket and the program lights went out and just the power lights on. So the next thing we got to do is we need to take a look at a chip. Now we're going to start with this PET chip. It's a 901465-23. The chip is in the socket to the right with the pin 1 indicator to the left. This is actually from the instructions are to clamp it down and then try to slide it in the socket. I find if I let it up a little bit and then slide it, the idea is to like make sure you're getting good contact, and these pins are crusty. This is another one of these ROMs I need to do. This is a 2332, the chip is, and we need to load it into memory. So we're going to read the EPROM into memory at address 2000 through to FFF. And that's because as a 4K ROM, it's going to literally use FFF spaces. Comma 0, meaning we're starting at the 0th byte at the very beginning. Comma 18. 18 is a control word. You have to look it up in the manual. It's in a table in here. And using that control word, it tells it how to read this ROM. Now it's reading the EPROM. We got 68D8, that should be correct. And so now what we'll do is we will take that out. Now you'll find a lot of instructions online say now you have to use the Z command. However, this version of the software auto Z's every time. So only if these lights are on when they shouldn't be do you have to Z it. So now here we have a 2532. And one important thing to note is I could burn this onto a 2732, but then I would have to use an adapter board. I would rather have a nice new old stock chip in the PET that looks correct. And then again, it goes off to the right, locks in position. So I'm going to check it empty from 0 to FFF, which is the entire EPROM. Again, the 18 control word. And it's checking the erase, Race check complete. The EPROM is definitely empty. So now we're going to write it. So we're going to program it, and you can also use the pi symbol, but this is program. We're telling it to look in 2000 through 2FFF, which is where we just copied the ROM in the EPROM into. And then start at 0. Control words 18 still. And then the thing we need to do here is we need to tell it how to write the EPROM. In this case, I'm using 7. There are several different write control words in the manual. This one is supposed to be slower, but more reliable. Socket light's on. The program light is on. Program light is flickering. I don't know if you can see it. 68D8. We have the exact same hash word. So now what I'm going to do is going to go ahead and turn this stuff off, take the EPROM out, and we're just going to take a peek and see what we hath wrought. And we will put this EPROM that we just wrote in here. We will go to the 2332 for a 25 series. All right, and there we go, 901.465-23. So we have successfully copied a pet ROM, and now I have a nice clean one that can be used later. Now I'll just need to put a sticker over here, and I don't have those handy, but I'll put a label over that. It could take a year for this to get erased in this room, take a week or so outside. So it's not like a huge crisis. And there we go. That is how you copy an EPROM. But we got more work to do because we have 2 bad EPROMs, meaning I don't have a way to just read them in and then write them. So next, I need to get off of the modern internet the files over and into memory in the 64 in a way that I can write them to an EPROM. So that's what we're going to do next. All right, so one of the ICs I have that's bad is my basic EPROM, and it's labeled 901.465-23, so I'm going to download this version. And you can see I've already downloaded some of these files, so if I click save, it's going to replace it, which is fine. So now that I've downloaded the basic ROM, what I need to do is I need to load it into Visual Studio Code or some kind of a hex editor and change the first 2 bytes. So that's what we're going to do next. So I downloaded Visual Studio Code from Microsoft, and I use that just because I'm used to Visual Studio, and Code is a lightweight version. Once I had Visual Studio Code downloaded, I ran it, and I went into the extensions and installed the hex editor extension, the one from Microsoft. So once I'm in Visual Studio Code and I've got the hex editor installed, I'm going to open the basic ROM. I believe it's this one. And it's going to say, oh, it's not supported, but you say, okay, open anyway, and then select the hex editor. And here we've got basic 4, 4CBD. So we're going to want to load this into the Commodore 64 at memory address 2000 hex, so 2000. But the problem is when we load this, the first 2 bytes is going to be interpreted by the Commodore 64 as being the memory address to load it to. And that address is in what they call little endian orders. So least significant byte first. So what we need to do is we need to set it to load into 2002. And the reason for that is because it's going to strip the first 2 bytes off. The FF here as the 3rd byte is going to be in 2002, and the 4C and the BD are going to be gone. So what we do is, since we want it in 2002 in little endian order, that's 02, clicky, 02, 20. So it's 2002. It's in that reverse order. Once that's done, we can go ahead and save the file. And what you need to do is when you save it, I chose a file format here as like basic 4CBD. And you can see that when I first did this, I used uppercase letters. That will not work. You need to have lowercase letters and then go ahead and save it. That is now saved in a format we can use on the Commodore 64. I put those 2 bytes into the file name so that I can't forget them. Now we need to go to the Commodore 64, load this in to address 2002, and then fix the first 2 bytes. Okay, so next we need to burn a chip. And I can tell you right now, I've burnt a chip. I've burnt like 5 chips. I have been going through craziness. Did a dress rehearsal at the beginning so I could make sure everything worked and that I understood what I was doing, and it all worked perfectly. I then recorded it with one of the cameras not on, the important one. I didn't have OBS recording the Commodore 64. And then I failed 3 chip burns, and I could not figure out what was going on. It was driving me insane. I finally have figured out what the problem was. And apparently there's a bug in the software where when you're using promos with Hessmon, the last byte doesn't get written when you save it. So as long as I do it working with the file that I started with, which is on the SD to IEC, it works fine. So I'm going to show you how to do this. And I am not going to actually burn a chip because I have blown through all but one of my erased chips and my EPROM eraser is not working for some reason. I am going to fill 2000 to FFF with 00. All right, those are all zeros. Good. Now, back into DOS. Load BASIC off of the SD to IEC or the UIEC/SD. Yoixed. Now we go back in here. We look at the first few bytes, and we can see that these 2 are still zeros. Everything else looks correct. It has loaded. So I put in the 4C and the BD that we had recorded earlier. Now if I go, you can see that they're there. And so now I am going to go back into here. We should still have the program loaded. So I would then take the empty EPROM, and I can do that. It's right here. As soon as I can get it out of this, this got shattered when it shipped, so that's got to go. Put the EPROM in here. Gonna check and make sure it's erased. That's real easy. We just say erase. This is a check, not erase. It doesn't. You can't electrically erase these. So I want to look at 0 through FFF. And I want to use control code 18, which is for the 2532. Checks the erase, and erase check complete. So this EPROM is empty. And now next, I am going to type in the program command, but I'm not actually going to execute it. I will cut in a little shot here where I did one earlier that worked. So what we do is we P for program, 2000 through to FFF, starting at 0, control word 18, and then we have 7 as the program control word. And I hit enter, and now we go look at another copy from when I did it, and then it's all done. Once that's done, I'm going to put the EPROM I wrote earlier in here. Okay, so I'm going to verify the contents of the EPROM versus memory from 2000 to 2FFF, starting at byte 0 with control word 18, and it's verifying the EPROM. Verify is okay. So what's in memory matches what's on this EPROM that I burnt earlier, which then we put into the Retro Chip Tester Pro, and look at that. It also looks good. So there we go. We've got a new basic ROM for the PET that'll work. And I actually have about 4 bad ones and 3 good ones. So we're set. All right, so this was just an amazingly fun project for me. It really took me back to the good old days. Like I said, I haven't burnt an EPROM in decades, and this felt very much similar to what I did. I think all the EPROM burning I did in college was on an 8088, and everything I did at home was on an Amiga 500, but it was still command line based. So I've got a nice set, all 6 ROMs for the pet. One of them still an old one for now because somebody went through all of his EPROMs playing with the programmer before shooting the video. Then I discovered that the EPROM eraser I was given a couple of months ago was battery operated and had 30-year-old batteries in it. And by in it, I mean everywhere in it. But I'll get an EPROM eraser one of these days soon. But in the meantime, if you'd like to see more of the Promenade C1 and all the goodies it came with that I don't have, I'm going to link in the description a video by Sean at Geek with Social Skills. He has one. He's doing a video right now. I will get that link in the description as soon as his video's ready. I really hope you enjoyed this video. This was a blast for me. I can't wait to get these in the pet, which I'm going to do as soon as I finish this video. So, thanks for coming.